Hello and welcome to Sonic Talk episode 474, recording today live Wednesday the 30th of November 2016, isn't it? This is the podcast that basically it's a panel discussion that talks about music technology, things to do with music technology, live production, studio work, software, sometimes DJing, controllerism, synthesizers, all of that kind of good stuff. So if this is the sort of thing that you enjoy, then I heartily recommend you subscribe. Either like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on iTunes, or just however you like. There's lots of ways to do it, Twitter, all of those good things. So please do. I want to say thank you very much to our show sponsors. Today we've got a gift of Isotope Neutron, which is the brand new mixing, analytics and processing plugin, which is shaking the world. So they're giving away a copy, and if you were around last week, you may have entered the competition to win one. So we'll be announcing the prize and giving a prize. Also want to say hello to our chat room who are there, fulsome chat room I like to say. Nice to see you folks. I can only bring our own IRC chat room into the computer at the moment. The YouTube chat room is on a separate thing, and it's too complicated. I won't go into it. Anyway, welcome one and all. I want to say hello to everybody. I'm going to start with Mr. Mark Tinley. We haven't seen Mark Tinley for a while. Mark Tinley, of course, is sound artist and owner and runner, manager, proprietor of the establishment that is called in Glastonbury. I've completely blanked.
It's called Sonus Magus.
Sonus Magus, of course.
Which means, Sonus is sound, but I prefer the interpretation noise. And Magus means either magician, but I prefer the interpretation wise and learned man. Now I'm 53, so I'm the wise and learned man of noise. Or perhaps the shop is, but so
brilliant.
Yeah, and it's in Glastonbury.
In Glastonbury, and so I haven't updated your lower third. I think it's sonusmagus.com, isn't that right?
It is, yeah.
Right.
And we really only sell very odd things. Poor classical musicians who had another music shop here up until July, which closed recently, come in to see me and they go, "Oh, have you got any violins?" And then they kind of look around at all the brightly coloured, weird, broken children's toys and wires everywhere. And I've got quite a few electric guitars at the moment, but
maybe you should pop
weird synthesizing devices, and they're a bit kind of confused, perhaps, but. But it's also
funny, isn't it?
It's appealing to a lot of the other people in Glastonbury, so it's working really well, actually.
Excellent. I'm glad to. I suppose it's really bizarre, isn't it, that you had a music shop where things to do with traditional instruments are special order items.
Yes,
I like
exactly. I can order really expensive cellos if you want one, but
nice.
I don't know enough about them to advise anyone.
No, I suppose
do have a catalogue.
Yeah, well, I suppose with internet and stuff, then I don't know. It must be.
But it's insane. I mean, I reckon I've spent £1,000 on guitar strings just to stock like a good range of strings now. And I've kind of been building that up. And then I looked at violin strings. So a set of guitar strings, a cheap set of guitar strings is like £7.25, around that kind of area. A cheap set of violin strings is more like 30 or 40 quid. And then you've got 4 different sizes of violin. So how am I ever going to stock that without a huge investment? And I don't think it's an investment I want to make when very few of the people who come into my shop are actually classical players. So
yeah,
it's very difficult.
I can imagine.
And saxophone reeds as well. There's 4 different strengths of saxophone reeds and 4 different types of saxophone.
Yeah, well, it's a non-stop.
So confusing.
Imagine the stocking that. Yeah, I guess what you need is like the automotive industry, isn't it? Where there are little vans that whiz around the country and deliver twice a day to garages that need them, so you can actually order. That's what you need for that kind of thing.
If somebody placed an order today, I could have it by Friday. So
yeah,
it's not impossible to do. It's just that I don't have it there and then. And a lot of the people that come in seem to be there and then kind of people who've just, who
well, as it is,
right
everybody wants everything right now. And now, I need to talk to Mr. Dave Spears from G4Software.com, who's there in a kind of sepia 70s sort of look, sort of a cross between the man from Milk Tray and a Polaroid that's faded slightly on a caravan wall. How are you, Dave Spears from G4 Software?
I'm all right. It is quite dark in here. But yes, I'm all right, thank you. Yes.
Excellent. I'm very glad to hear it. Looks like everything's in its place. You haven't got the cases, the covers are off, and none of the cases are open with wires hanging out. That's looking good. So how is the collection? Is it in good fine fettle at the moment?
Yeah. Need one more visit to the repairman, Kent. Actually, he's got a couple of things that I need to pick up, and there are more things to deliver. That's new. Ooh.
Oh yes, of course. That's the classic. That's the new Model D, isn't it?
Yes.
And
it's very good.
Is it? I'm glad to hear it.
It's got MIDI and aftertouch. That's like so when you take it out of the box, it's quite trippy, really, because obviously the one we've got, which is just over here, that was from 1971, and it's in brilliant condition. But the scaling on the keyboard's always been erratic. You have to tune it if you want to play up here, as opposed to, and then you have to retune it if you want to play down the bottom end. Only slightly, and over the years I've gotten used to it. But, there's a couple of switches that are a bit kind of, need a little bit of prodding to make them happen. And when you kind of open the box on the new one, it's a very surreal experience. It's like it's all new. It smells new.
Yeah.
And all the switches work, but when you plug it in, it's like it's a mini Moog. And then you've got all these aftertouch.
I think aftertouch probably makes quite a lot of sense. The thing I noticed, because we had Alex from Source Distribution, aka Mylar Melodies, down here, and he brought a Model D down to demonstrate play through a load of Eventide pedals. We got that video coming up soon, actually. And when we got it out of the box, I just thought, God, it's massive. It's so big. I mean, mini is completely not the word that I would use to describe that synthesizer.
Not these days. Would have been funny if they'd have put mini keys on it.
Well, and the justification would have been perfectly fine. Well, it's called a mini Moog, isn't it? I mean, why wouldn't it have mini keys? Yeah. Oh God, can you imagine? Can you imagine? That would be a great April Fool's. Maybe next time.
It's just Look, hang on. You do this.
Yeah, baby.
How weird is that? How weird is that?
Well, I've never owned one, so anyway. But anyway, Dave, glad to have you aboard. And, of course, finally, but not lastly, well, I suppose you are technically last, but not through any kind of pecking order, Gaz Williams from GazWilliams.me, music technologist, bass player, producer. Looks like you've got, like, sunlight streaming in from somewhere. Either that or your screens are up too bright, or there may be another reason. How are you, Gaz?
Yeah, good. I'm like the TSR guest, aren't I? The terminate and stay resident guest. That's sort of that's my role. Can't get rid of me that easily. Yes, I'm good, thank you.
Good. Yeah. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Of course, Gaz was here last week. We shot something with we've got the Korg Nano Studios, little Bluetooth controls, and also the circuit update. We've been sort of threatening to do that for a while, and we shot on the 1.4 update, which was fantastic, and that's going to be ready again soon as well.
Excellent. Yeah, I enjoyed doing those. Those little nano things definitely worth a look at, aren't they?
Sorry.
Did you say nano Bluetooth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I was thinking today, there's nothing new come out for ages, and there's nothing I want. Now you've done it. You guys, Jesus.
I don't know what happened there, Gaz. There they are. Well, at least there they were.
I need one of those. Oh, no.
What fell, Gaz? I'm really, really worried.
It's all right. It was my microphone and stand and valve mic and lots of things.
Oh, Gaz. No. I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, Mark, you'll have to check it out. We've got stuff to get through.
I will.
We should probably...
Yeah, it smashed the head off the mic.
Oh
no!
I was grabbing these.
Wow, which are financially considerably less. I don't want to. I really don't want to know that it's broken.
Things break.
Unfixable. Okay. Wow.
Who cares?
So what I'll do, I'll flip next, and then Gaz will be weeping, sobbing quietly into some high density foam. Right. Let's. What do we got? What's first? We should probably do some stuff on some stuff. Yay! Here's something new as well, then, Mark. Well, will be soon.
Special way.
Oh, or maybe it won't. It's not playing. That's awesome. Oh, there he goes. Oh, I've got to start again now. Damn.
Special Waves is a new brand.
I'm going to quit the marketing stuff. We'll just fast forward. Basically, these little controller modules that fit into these cases, I think they identify themselves somehow, and you can create your own custom controller layouts, which looks like a really good idea for people perhaps who... I'm guessing the problem is, though, you might be thinking you could save money because you won't get what you don't need, but I'm suspecting they might be quite expensive. But these are called Mine Modular, and the pricing's unclear. They're going to start it on Kickstarter fairly soon, which is, seems like a good idea. There are there are a couple of different size enclosures. There's a single RGB pad, 2 buttons, a pot, an encoder, and a fader. And Mark, you actually sent, my God, have you seen this? It's so cool.
I did. My friend Busby sent them to me. It's just bloody genius, isn't it? I absolutely love it. The idea that I could customize a controller and just build what I needed in the real world, not just because I use is it Touch OSC?
Yeah, that kind of
quite
stuff.
A lot. Yeah, it's Touch OSC. I use it on the iPad, and I like building my own editors and stuff. But the idea that I could build my own hardware editor, and it would do everything I needed it to do, and it could be laid out the way I wanted it to be laid out, really, really appeals to me.
Well, I think that's good. I mean, it's going to come down to pricing, isn't it? I mean, that is basically the bottom line. I know I like the idea of it because so often when you do have a controller, it's like, well, either it's got to have it has these sort of standard form factors, but the fact that you could build your own does mean that you could have, you could clip one up for a live system or clip one up for, for whatever. It depends on how much configurability there is in the base unit, or whether it has to all go via software, which means it's going to be via a computer. I know, Gaz. I mean, it's not clear, really, is it? But the concept is kind of strong.
Yeah, I guess. I'm a little bit. I'm not sure about this because things like Lima and iPad apps are utterly configurable, aren't they? And I know it's not the same as the physical control. But I think to get it configured is, I mean, how much is it for a whole one? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I've got the website up here. It does look like it's configurable only. Standard USB controls. Yeah, it's USB only. So unless you've got a class compliant device, it looks like, I don't know whether whether they remember what each module is supposed to send. That's not clear.
So just in contrast, then, something like that. Which all of this is CCable, isn't it? And faders.
Yeah.
It doesn't look a great deal different to that, does it?
And that's what, 100 quid, 120 quid?
Yeah, yeah. And Bluetooth as well.
But what drives me nuts is I've always got knobs on things that don't do anything at the end of the day because I assign loads of knobs and then I've got loads left over and I'm sort of thinking, I suppose I ought to assign them to something, and I don't know. I just sort of spend lots of time fiddling around with things and not making music. I kind of like the idea of this being able to build what you need and then just leaving it where it is. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
But you're not going to want to use it without it full, though, aren't you? It's going to look a bit weird, like a bit ugly if you only had...
Well, you could put pencils in there or plectrums or, or your keys. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dave, I don't know, Dave, what do you think? I mean, as... We go through this all the time. I mean, I wanted to ask this actually anyway, but what do you think about this? I mean, I guess it could be nicely configurable if it was able to stand alone and remember what it was supposed to be doing rather than have to go via a computer or an iPad or something.
Yeah, and blanking plates to put in the spaces that you leave where you don't want if you're replicating
good
the
idea.
interface. That would be quite neat,
with custom logos.
Yeah. I mean, could do all sorts of stuff, couldn't you? Overlays, templates. I mean, it is interesting. I don't know how much. That was kind of the second thing I thought. Oh, wonder how much this is going to be. It sounded to me a bit like they were asking for money or something in order to make it.
Yeah, well,
at the end of the video, he says, "Oh, we need." Okay, I didn't see.
It's going to be a Kickstarter. It's not yet, so that information is not clear.
Okay. Yeah. No, I like the idea. I mean, I have to say, a billion years ago when we did the Fat Boy, it was 2 rows of 7 knobs, and the one thing we noticed is when you're controlling something like a software synth, you still have to make that association between the position of the knob and the position of the parameter you're controlling on screen, and that wasn't a huge deal, but it did interrupt the process a little bit. So I like this whole bespoke controller thing.
I think it's a good idea, but I'm not sure. I think the problem that we've got is that's all fine, but it's the assignment that is the pain, because every single time you do it, this generally works if you have a live setup and you have repeatable things that you want to know where everything is. That's fine, and you spend a bit of time programming. It's not the creative part of the production. It's to do with I've done my creative part. Now I want to be able to tweak it live, or maybe enable some other creativity. But I need it all. What I want is something that I could just kind of go, that one twist, that one twist, and just really on the fly be able to touch the screen or hover the mouse over and go, yep, I want that to do that, I want that, and it's done, and it takes seconds. And that way I can build things up super fast. I mean, that's the thing about this is the other question I was going to ask, really, is obviously everybody, we're still searching, humanity in the ether is searching for the controller that will do what everybody wants and be flexible enough. And for me, it's got to be something that's real. Do you remember those, Gaz, you remember the Steinberg controllers that if you hovered the mouse over a parameter, then that controller would just, that's the sort of thing that we need more of. Yeah.
I use that all the time. That is, I don't know why that isn't just a standard thing, because it's just, that wherever the mouse is.
Ableton works like that to a degree, doesn't it?
No, you have to set it up per program, per track, per song you have to set it up. You click on things and assign them to MIDI things just by sending it the control, and it learns it. Yeah, but it's very. But I get the problem is that you get assignments that are already mapped, and then if you can't remember, you need something that is just like right now, right here. I want this knob to do that right now. That's
so that combo though of like using Lemur on an iPad with those. Do you remember those like knobs that you can? I can't remember.
The stick-on knobs. Faders. That's right.
Hang on. Stick-on.
Mark brought them out not that long ago. Actually, I think we've never seen them again. But yeah,
they're still sitting on my desk since the last time we were here. Yeah. So these little beauties.
They're not so little though, are they?
And that. Well, you can get two faders, two maybe three faders on an iPhone, but you can get a few more things on an iPad.
Sorry, Gaz, carry on, Gaz.
Well, those, in conjunction with Lemur or MIDI Designer Pro, which is excellent, on the iPad, it's gonna, just in comparison to these products, and I wish these guys the best with it, but it's sort of, you get so much with, Lemur or MIDI Designer Pro, and exactly what you're talking about, Nick, though, you set it to MIDI Learn. And it's
I suppose that I want to avoid even that. I don't even want the MIDI Learn stuff. I just want to go that. I want to go that one, that one. Yeah. I don't want to even worry. I don't want to have to get in there and go, actually, do I need to limit the range of it? Do I need? I just don't. I don't care about that. Dave.
Well,
Dave, as a software developer, right? Is that sort of thing feasible? Do you have access to that kind of level of we could make that happen if there was a will, or is it actually a nightmare or a pain? Well, obviously it's a pain. Everything is, but.
Yes. Yes. From the little I know, yes. I would have to talk to a proper programmer about all of this, but yes, it is. I do know people who are doing a very similar thing on, the proper touchscreen monitors. That knob controlling that with the touchscreen.
Yeah,
that's. I know that's happening. It was interesting. I thought the one thing that did make me chuckle with this, and like Gaz, I wish them all the best, is that they were saying it was kind of, configurable in hundreds and thousands of different ways. But in the end, it just looked like a launch pad.
Yeah.
Well, there is that. Yeah.
So I'm going to explain how I found out about this thing. My friend Busby sent me this because he came and stayed at my house recently, and I just bought a Push 2. So I upgraded from Launchpad to Push 2, and he's a real Ableton guy, and I was showing him Push 2, and I was sort of learning it as I was going along, and he sort of sent me this in response saying, I crap to your Push, mate, you should try one of these. And I kind of looked at that and thought, this Push is really cool. But actually, I can see that this has got legs as well. But going back to the Push, the way that interacts with Ableton, it's transported me back to a point in time where I was making music with samplers like the S1000, and it really feels like using an S1000 to me, and I don't know if they've deliberately designed it like that, but if you click on a clip, the sample comes up in a window on the push, and then you can change the start and end points of the loops, and then you can break the thing up and put it all on separate pads. And I'm sure you guys all know all this already, but
yeah, so I see what you mean. Yeah,
it's given me access to the synthesizers in Ableton. And going back to what Dave said about layout, I've never really kind of gotten into the synths in Ableton, because all the synths have things laid out. All the filters are in one window, and then you click to the next window and you've got the oscillators, and then you click to the next window and you've got waveforms or whatever, and everything seems dotted about all over the place, and you can't just grab at the things you need straight away. But the push seems to bring all those most important things up in one window. When you click on the analog synth, so you suddenly get access to all the things you need. So I've sort of rekindled my relationship with some of those synths in Ableton and really enjoying it, because the hardware controller makes intelligent decisions about how it's acting with the software. So,
I mean, I agree. I mean, it's very much an instrumental interaction. But anyway, I mean, we'll keep an eye out for their special-waves.com is where the information will be. And I guess Kickstarter, they'll probably send out a new press release when that happens, and we'll get to see that as well. I didn't realise what the time was. I've been gassing on for hours. I think we'll just have a quick break for our sponsored video. So just hold tight there. And obviously, iZotope are our featured guests in terms of sponsorship, and you'll be able to win a copy of Neutron. Next generation mixing plugin allows you to analyze the mix, see where there are overlapping frequencies. It makes suggestions based on the track types and the musical instruments. Very intelligent stuff going on. And from what I understand, I haven't used it myself in mixes because I don't do a lot of mixing. People are raving about it as a very useful analytic tool, and also a suite of plugins to then process those tracks. Masking meter shows you what are the overlapping frequencies and where you need to kind of clarify things. It's kind of like super analytics, I suppose, for audio. Identify frequency collisions. Oh yeah. And say I'm playing a guitar, electric guitar, and it'll go try this sound, and you can use it as a starting point. I mean, obviously you wouldn't stick with all the presets, although I'm sure they're fine. You can check this out for yourself. Go to iZotope.com/neutron. But the smoke doesn't come out of your computer. There we go. iZotope.com/neutron. Do check it out. And of course, we do have competitions. We had a competition last week where we asked you to tweet the hashtag the Mix Fixer and the hashtag Neutron to @iZotope Inc. and at sonicstate.com. And we have a winner. In fact, the winner is this chap here, because he tweeted this rather sagely nodding Snoop Dogg. This is Rick Tyra. He's our winner of this week, and I just thought I'd throw that because I actually had something visual to put there. So, Rick Tyra, please do get in touch. Your Twitter handle is @Rick Tyra, which is all one word. And we've got another competition this week where you can also win another copy of Neutron. All you have to do is tweet the hashtag #SoundsBetter, and the hashtag Neutron to @sonicstate and @iZotope Inc. If you're listening in audio, I'll say that again. The hashtag #SoundsBetter and the hashtag Neutron to @sonicstate and @iZotope Inc. We thank you very much for your sponsorship of the show. Thank you very much indeed. Right, Dave, am I going to press the button on your big news? Is it all right?
Oh, our release that has been in the making, genuinely a game changer, and
All right, here we go. Everybody ready?
G4 Software Vintage Synthesizer Trumps 2 out now. Yes.
Excellent.
There you go.
A new synth top trumps. Excellent. It's funny, actually, because we were going to do this a few weeks back, but it was actually the day after the Trump winning the election, and it just felt somehow like it would be the wrong thing to do on that day. But yes, the vintage synth top trumps. Can't wait. And I hear that was Mr. Matt Berry, by the sound of it, doing the voiceover.
Yes, what a legend.
Excellent.
I thought it was the first time that we can say, genuinely, next generation. Revolutionary, groundbreaking, game changer, all that kind of stuff. Game changer, literally, and obviously next generation. We've been taking photographs of stuff for about a year. And we've had this in mind because we did the pack probably about 10 years ago, but we had so many of them made, it's taken a while to get through them. So it was like, we need to do this again. And it was brilliant fun, obviously, doing it. More categories, more nerdiness. But I have to say, the best bit was when it gets to the desirability category, because that's reasonably arbitrary, isn't it? That's just about, originally I think it was me and Chris sat over a couple of pints going, 4 out of 5. This one is slightly more nerdy because we enlisted, so it's myself, Chris, Kent Spong, who looks at everything from a repair perspective, so that's can be slightly jaded, and Marc Doty. So we kind of all got together and gave a score, and then we took the average of that score. So it is
very scientific.
The judges' credentials are listed. Yes, we did spend quite a lot of time doing this.
Top Trumps, for those of you who don't realise, I mean, it's like a kind of a game that works across all sorts of categories. You get Top Trumps wild animals or whatever, and it's or Top Trumps poo. And it's basically you get all these scores and marks. There's a picture and scores and marks, and then you can play it as a game, and you can say, I've got this. You put one down, and then somebody else puts another one down that beats it, trumps it effectively, and then the winner takes the cards, and it's like a card game, right? I should just explain. And this is for vintage synthesizers, Dave. So you have to do the full plug. So it's available. I've just spotted it. It's available on the website right now. I'm going to go buy it.
I think Chris is getting ready to...
£6.95. That came up on the search engine.
Really?
Yeah, £6.95. Add to basket. There we go. I'm going to do it live, folks. Yeah, check out.
Stock them in the shop, Mark.
I must log in before. Yeah. Anyway,
I should definitely stock them in the shop.
Excellent.
It's very funny. We did it years.
Where are they? Whereabouts is it? I want to buy them.
G4software.com. So, Dave, carry on. Sorry.
No, years ago, obviously, when we first did them, we took them to NAMM, and there was this moment on the back of the plane where it was literally like half of MI industry playing top trumps, and it was brilliant because the arguments were getting kind of more heated, no way, there's no way that should beat that. But if you pick your categories carefully, it can be done. Anyway, yes, there you go. Perfect Christmas gift, and there's my plug over and out.
Excellent. Well, GeForce Software...
But Matt Berry, thank you very much. Matt was, Well, I just asked Matt.
Can I ask a question? Are you allowed to say what the topics are, or do you have to wait and see?
Oh, yeah, no, I've got them.
What the categories are?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. We're talking nerdy categories here. Okay.
Are they different from the version 1 categories?
There are more because we thought
cool.
we needed to increase the nerdness.
Okay, let's go.
So we have, so let's have a look. So, 2600. Date of release, original price, maximum notes playable, keyboard notes, amount, oscillators per voice. What have we got? Unison, yay, nay. Oscillator sync, that's a good one. Filter types, low pass, band pass, high pass. And when it comes to polyphony, divide down will lose. Proper polyphony. Them's the rules. Memories, arpeggio, sequencer, and the much argued about desirability factor.
Excellent.
So there you go. It was great.
We're already getting comments that there should be an iOS version of this game.
How do filters work against each other then?
Sorry, how what?
Who wins with a filter?
How could you do an iOS version?
It can be done. We did look at this in detail, and you would need... It's the server situation, because you could play against another person, but what you really want to do is play against somebody across the other side of the world. So we haven't written it off yet. We're just trying to do more research. But in the process of doing it, we were like, you know what? physical cards.
Yeah. Anyway, congratulations, Dave, on a release this year. Yeah. Excellent.
Yes, thank you.
Excellent work. Excellent work. So yes, do check those out. g4software.com and go to it. Right. Oh God, did you see this? Now this is mental. Is this the next topic? Yes, I think it is. This is what's her name? Her name. I'm going to mispronounce it totally. Yuja Wang, Chinese pianist, who just as a little encore with the Berlin Philharmonic decided to have a little fun with the Turkish March by Mozart and improvised like a proverbial. It's astonishing. I won't play it. Well, maybe I will play the whole thing. Just gets more and more and more outrageous. I'm going to fast forward it because there's a bit at the end where it just goes absolutely... Oh my God. I think that does deserve a round of applause, actually. You very rarely see someone who is that skillful that can be able to think that nimbly, and they're not normally one for playing kind of, I suppose you could say too many notes type videos, but that one was pretty amazing and in front of an audience. I don't know, Dave, you tinkle the ivories a little bit, but that's an impressive bit of pianism right there, right?
Amazing. I mean, at first I was like, oh, this isn't very good. And then it got better and better and better. Remember, I don't know whether you remember, I got into trouble years ago because I kept a kind of online diary, and I had a next door neighbour who was a wannabe concert pianist, and we were in a kind of terraced house, and she'd just start practising and playing at midnight, and you'd be in the middle of watching a film, and then all of a sudden, a bit like this, that kind of massive velocity coming through the walls, and she could make, Brokeback Mountain seem like the Keystone Cops or something by putting this alternate piano music to it. It was very surreal. It did remind me of this, but she was taught by this guy, the ex-next door neighbour was taught by this guy who's astonishing, not quite up to this level, but not far behind. And for her, I think it was her 40th or 50th birthday party, he played Happy Birthday on the piano in about 100 different ways and styles.
Wow.
Which was quite astonishing.
She's like Black MIDI, the human version of Black MIDI. We did a topic some time back. It came from the chat room on YouTube's, where there's so many notes that you can't see the daylight between the dots. It's astonishing, really. I've never seen anybody who can play quite that impressively, but I guess she's a possibly one of the finest pianists in the world, I guess, by the looks of things.
Yeah. Yeah, she's amazing. She's lovely, isn't she? She's she's got the whole thing going on. Yeah, I like it. There's humour in there as well, which is great.
Lots of playfulness. There really is not much more to say about this, apart from I think it's cool. I don't know, Mark, do you ever do a little slot in your shop sometime? That would probably draw a few people, right? Maybe one of those toy pianos.
When I was doing that, I'm going to jump back a few years to when I was doing the Open Boat Orchestra thing. There was a piece of computer software which could analyze, or a computer programmer who'd analyzed all these different musicians and had a computer program called EMI, I think it was, that could generate music like Chopin or Beethoven or Mozart. And I'm just thinking that woman's head, what's in that woman's head needs to be somehow... all that information and that skill of being able to take things and literally morph from one thing to another, that would be where music software would be at, where it's at for me. That's what I'd like next. Something where I could put a piece of music in and it would do something as clever as what she did to that piece of music to change it into something new. Absolute bloody genius. I mean, years of skill and understanding how all the notes have different relationships and scale relationships and everything else, and then being able to turn it into something new. Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. I think I don't know much more about her, but I just thought it was a nice little actual musical interlude. So let's move on to another topic, just because we can. That was that one. Oh, yeah. Did anyone buy anything on Black Friday? Because Black Friday was really a massively obsessive kind of set. We did this blog where we just had tons and tons and tons and tons. I figured the quickest way to do it was just screen grab all of these things. I think one of my favourites, I think it's down here somewhere. It's around. It was the Micro Brute for 154 quid, the red one. That was it. But there were just loads and loads, all the usual stuff. Did anyone actually make a purchase on Black Friday? Because I was seeing a lot of people going, yeah, I did. Gaz, finger up. Was it a Valve? Was it a Valve mic by any chance?
Or I'm going to be looking now.
A flight case for your Valve mic that hasn't arrived yet. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a terrible.
No, gosh, yeah.
Oh,
it is bust. It is
oh
bust.
Man.
Oh God, Black Wednesday.
Oh, so sorry.
It's all right with the headphone. I was recording earlier, and I haven't put it. It's my own fault. Oh. So I got the Sound Toys bundle finally. Robbie Bronneman and Ty Unwin have both been sort of going, Robbie especially been really saying that it's crazy that I hadn't got the Sound Toys bundle. So that the reason why I'm mentioning it is, apart from it being really, really good, I'm sure plenty of you have got it already, but they are giving away Tremolator.
Oh yeah, I think we had that one in the list.
Yeah. It's ending today. That is ending today.
Oh, there it is. Look, 50% off plus a free Tremolator today. Ending today. So you've got about 8 hours probably on that.
And I'd got the free CQ. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. SIEQ. That they get their latest one, which is based on, I can't remember what it is now. It's EQ based on a German mixing desk. I can't remember which one, but really nice sounding. So I bought that because it was good value, but Tremolator has really blown me away. Actually, it's brilliant. So everybody should grab it if you get to hear it now. Just because it's free.
It's funny. This year seemed to be there was actually less in the way of hardware. I mean, I did check retailers out, and they did have some deals, but it was much more of a software and online thing. It felt like this time, but I suppose it's a lot easier for people to do. Mark, did you get anything? Did you have a Black Friday sale yourself, even?
I gave away free organic raw chocolates in the shape of guitars, which were sweetened with agave syrup to anybody who bought anything on Friday. Did I buy anything? I bought 10 headphone audio adapters, 3.5mm to 6.3mm, and 10 the other way around. But no, I didn't get tempted by any of the wild kind of offers that were landing in my inbox. I want to simplify. I just want to use the Push and Ableton and only the plugins it comes with. Or,
there's something to be said for that.
And there just stick with that and go back to sampling and not use anyone else's sound. So
that's a very admirable and quite a reasonable thing to do. I think it's perfectly reasonable. Perfectly reasonable. Dave, did you?
No, we were going to double our prices on Black Friday. just to be our usual contrary selves. I didn't buy any music stuff. I bought a load of Final Cut Pro. I bought a load of plugins for that, because that was those are things that I can rarely justify going, I need this, I want this. Whereas actually the Black Friday stuff was,
that's a good point. I didn't
allowed me to go, I can do that. No, I didn't buy anything, not hardware, because we're saving our pennies now. We got after that.
Yeah, well, I can imagine that'll clear out any bank account in a hurry.
Yeah.
What did I do? Well, I'll tell you what I am going to get, Gaz, and that is a blooming circuit. Look, there's your circuit there in my setup, which I did a pre-show. I was just running. I put some beats to one of the tunes I'm going to play on Saturday, and I thought, so I haven't told you this yet, but what I figured I'd do, rather than buy it today, I'd do the gig, And then if it was really great and it worked out, I'll buy it after that. Because I just think, I haven't read the manual or anything. I just had to feel the manual to figure out how to stop sending MIDI notes out, so I could just send MIDI clock into the BeatStep Pro. So my entire setup is exactly the same. I've just plugged the circuit in, and on the tunes that I want to put drums on, I just go external MIDI sync and go. And it's totally seamless, and it's like,
where do you get the drums from?
I don't know. They were whatever was in it, whatever you left in it when we finished, and that's the problem.
So that's the new free pack, the Novation Team. What's it called? The Circuit Team pack. Or something,
is it? Okay, well that's good. Yeah, I'm just using the kick and a couple of things, but I'm just thinking. I'm really excited, actually, because it sits right and it sounds really good up against all those other, there's a Sub 37 monologue and Erebus and the Dom 1, and it sounds beefy. Even the VA
that's
stuff.
That's the thing with it, which is half a launch pad and a synthesizer, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
I'm very tempted by one of them myself.
Honestly, Mark, I'm quite. It's one of the. Because yesterday I just hooked up to see if it would work, and I just thought, I'll play some drums in and see. And I was like, oh yeah, that really worked. That's really working. It's really actually making my music. Well, what it means is I can add another minute to a couple of the tracks, which I really desperately need to fill the slot I'm booked into performing. But actually, I'm actually quite excited by it, and I don't normally, being a sort of cynical synth reviewer, that doesn't happen very well. But I found it really easy to use, and I'm quite excited. And the fact that I could put my own samples in. Yeah.
It's our latest episode that we've just made, feature that we've just done about it. We look at how to, all the various things, but the little example that I do at the beginning of that is using those drum slots in a non-beaty way as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is opening it up as more of a sound design tool as well.
Most definitely.
Is that you've just done a video on YouTube, have you?
Well, we filmed something.
The Sonic channel.
Yeah, it'll be in a few days. It's not up just yet. We should move on because there's a couple of things that I really want to get in, and this is one of them. This is Mixvibes Remixlive, which is a kind of loop-based sort of synced loop player, which is now running on Android and has Ableton Link. And that is actually really, really big news because of the Android thing. In fact, I downloaded it. I'm just going to... Where is it? So you could do that sort of link sync thing, the whole thing. And it's free. You have to upgrade to get other sample packs, and I think Link works out of the box. I've got it here, actually. Just put it on the phone. I don't know if it's...
Link is brilliant.
And
I'm not so sure about that.
What, Link?
Yeah.
And so, basically, the big news is really that it's Android, and that is actually... kind of the big deal because this is the first time that this has really happened. They've also got what's the other thing? The Cross DJ, which is like a sort of DJ stroppy DJ application. No, that's a joke. For Android, and that also has Link as well. So you could run, I guess, MP3s of maybe backing tracks or whatever. And the thing is because Android tablets, you could get a 7-inch tablet for like £50. And it'll run on that. Less than that, probably. Yeah. So this, I think, is actually really big news because you could imagine using that as part of a setup and just, having it go into... I could imagine using that in my setup as, a way of playing stuff out. And I just thought, I know, Gaz, are you excited? I mean, I know you haven't got any Android devices, have you?
No, I think it's brilliant, though. And I mean, I'm interested to see what Mark's going to say about Ableton Link because Ableton Link, though, is facilitating... a lot of very cool things, and now they've open sourced it as well. I'm guessing why we're seeing this now, but it's really exciting, isn't it? I mean, in my experience, I've had brilliant results with Ableton Link. So hopefully this bringing Android in, it's dead exciting. I'm really, really excited about this. I think it's brilliant. As you mentioned, wow. Once this is out there, who knows what's going to happen? I think
and it's the first time that we've actually seen, something that has an application to it. I'm just having a quick look because I know there's something else coming out as well but I don't think it's been announced, so I'll have to wait till tomorrow. Unfortunately, I can't say anything about it. I know there's the I won't say anymore. So I don't know, Mark. What do you have a problem with Ableton Mix Live, Ableton Live Link? Did you say?
Well, when my friend Busby came a couple of weeks ago, I thought that I would do some music with him, and he uses Ableton, I use Ableton, and we'd hook the two computers up with Link. We never got round to that, okay? But I thought, what else have I got that I could test Ableton Link with? And I've got Korg IK Oscillator in my phone, and I tried to sync IK Oscillator with Ableton on the computer, and I just found that they were off by about half a beat or something. So I'm guessing the latency, probably on the iPhone, is probably so big that the beats don't land in the same place. It feels like it's way off.
That sounds
very odd.
Sounds wrong.
That might be an IK Oscillator thing then, possibly, rather
Could
than
be. So I should try it again with something else, I guess. But as far as the Android aspect of it goes, the majority of my customers are people who don't understand computers, and I want to have something that I can configure for them and just go, here is this thing. All you need to do is learn that you've got to do, 5 simple actions. And this might be it, actually. If all those pads just trigger things off, and I could put drum beats on all those different things and create drum machines for people or whatever.
Well, you could have a bunch of them just lying around the shop, and then people could just jam four little pads lying around the shop with a speaker
Link,
on, with Link, and then people could just jam or whatever. That would be interesting.
That is a really good idea. I like that idea.
You can.
I'll have to download it and try it out.
Yeah. Well, it worked for me. I haven't tried it with Link, but yeah.
I mean, just to reiterate that point, though, the fact that you don't need to have Ableton Live running, just any iOS. Oh, well, currently.
It has to be on the same network, right, presumably?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
so,
so
if you're on the
got
network.
IK Oscillator, Gaz?
I have, but I haven't tried that on Link, so I can try that.
Okay. Dave, is any of this of any interest? I mean, the Android thing, the fact that there has been a movement, I guess it's because it's syncing and it's sort of looking ahead to sync. There's not an issue with the with any form and snapping to beats. There's no problem with the latency issues that we've had in Android. But I wonder if that means that there are more things coming because there's been a breakthrough, clearly, because this is the first time we've seen anything like this.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting. Android has always been a nightmare. Yes, other than that, no, sorry, I've nothing else to really contribute on this other than what Gaz and Mark have already said.
I'll move on because I know we've got one more thing to get through, and I know everybody's gagging for me to bring it up, and that's part of the reason. Oh, look, that's part of the reason that I wanted to have Gaz on the show as well. Although he's always welcome, obviously. Let me see. Is it this one?
Hello,
yes.
YouTube, this is Accurate.
This is a guy called...
All of us that subscribes to the newsletter from Teenage Engineering got this nice little email.
Accurate Beats, and he's basically downloaded and inserted the latest operating system, OS on it, on the OP-1.
The new features that I like the most are the new...
I won't play the whole thing because I know Gaz has got one, and I'm imagining you've already downloaded it and done the business, right, Gaz? If not, been a beta tester.
Sort of. This has been a long time.
It's really weird, isn't it?
Very long time in the coming. The last one, the last big OP-1 update, I believe, was like the summer 2013, or I think.
Whoa.
And we've been promised this for a very long time. And a beta of virtually the same thing got out over a year ago. And when this has finally come out, there isn't really a lot more in it than what was in the beta a year ago. So it's taken a very long time for this to actually be released. Now, I think that's probably a good thing because it does seem to be pretty good. A quick whistle-stop tour of the new stuff. It's like not that much in a way, but there's some quite fundamental things which are brilliant. One of the things is that there is this nifty... tape, 4-track tape, and prior to this update, if you used it, you could set up in and out points and a loop, and it'll go around. Whenever the sound went across the loop point, it would just it wouldn't have automatic crossfade. So you'd have clicks, and it was very easy to do that. So it meant that whole aspect, which is a great fun aspect of it, you had to be so careful not to play anything across a loop boundary. So now there's automatic crossfades at the loop boundaries. So, you kind of might be wonder why that wasn't there from the start, but that's a cool thing. Another good one is there's an arpeggiator in there now.
Yeah,
well.
I saw the implementation of that. It looks very nice.
Yeah, it's nifty. Because you can really perform with it. With the arpeggiator, which is cool. There's also a new synth engine that in the previous beta was known as Slump. But, Slump. But the new one now, this is Slump in its new guise called Voltage.
Okay.
It's quite nice. It's quite fizzy and buzzy, and you can get some quite nice sustained tones out of it. I like it. And then other than that, when it's in sampling mode, if it's sampling the radio, the green encoder, you press it and that'll scan through the FM and look through the FM band looking for auto. Basically, it's an auto tune like you've had in your radio since year dot.
Yeah.
But the big news about that, Nick, is the fact that the click encoder is the first time that these encoders, which have got clicks and will send out MIDI when you press the encoders, but it's the first thing in the whole system that actually utilizes the encoder click, which, it's bizarre why that's taken so long to encounter. There's a thing where you could do fine tuning of parameters if you hold down the shift and then tweak, but you kind of wonder when you first get it, why on earth not a little bit of pressure and it'll give you fine tune. So one of the frustrating things is that why have a lot of these kind of quite obvious things not been there from the beginning? However, and this is my final point on this, the OP-1 continues to be the piece of equipment that most dazzles and beguiles people, It continues to do that. It's like 6 years old now, more or less. And it continues to be like a thing that people think, wow, it's just been beamed out of the future.
Oh, what? It's the one that gets you the girls, Gaz. Is that what you're saying?
The girls love it. The girls, I'm telling you, they queue up. They really do. When you're rocking the OP-1, they queue up. They absolutely love it. They're really attracted to it, and it's and I think, but and I'm talking about people who've got no interest in synthesizers. They love it, and boys and girls, But it continues to capture people's imaginations after all this time, and I think as well, just massive kind of big thumbs up to Teenage Engineering for supporting it this long into its life. And
I want one thing that's really funny about, because I remember this, when we all used to use S950s or S1000s or the Atari, an OS update was this sort of massive kind of event that everyone was like, oh gosh, it's gonna and it's weird. People feel the same way about the OP-1, but it's like super niche. I mean, I don't know how many they've sold. It can't be more than, I don't know, say at the most maybe 10,000, which would be an enormous amount. But yeah, it seems that everybody, I've just been getting comment after comment saying, are you going to talk about the OP-1? Are you going to talk about the OP-1? Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting that the way that people sort of, either maybe they own them and they want to know what we think, or they don't own them, but they want to know because it's a thing of such desirability. Do you remember that, Dave? When an OS update for the S1000 came out, it was like everybody went, wow, it's a really major, it feels like this is the same sort of thing really in a funny kind of way.
Yeah, that stuff's just really desirable, isn't it? It is. The one thing I love about the OP-1 is, in the days where I could afford nothing, the little Casio VL tone thing, and you were sort of desperately expecting that to kind of, if it was any way near professional, it would be great. And this is the kind of like an adult's version of something like that. It's grown up. It seems robust. It sounds great. They've got real kudos to a lot of their stuff. It's a company whose products I'd like to get into if I could justify going. just one more synthesizer.
Well, it's very small. I suppose you could fit it in. It's funny. I mean, yeah, everybody's got one. I mean, like you say. I mean, you and Robbie both love yours. I mean, I've seen people. I've been looking for just a definitive list of new features. I couldn't find them, but I was finding people saying, "I've owned it, I sold it, I bought it again, I sold it again," and I have a love-hate relationship. I mean, Mark, have you played with one?
Not really. I've seen it at Gaz's house, but not really sat down with it and tried to get into it. I mean, it's an interesting looking thing, and I totally agree with Dave about the VL tone comment, because that's how I see that thing, as a little, kind of a music computer, a very clever little music computer that can do lots of things. But I mean, I thought about stocking them, but again, it's all it's a case of turnover, isn't it? Where I invest and stuff. And I have had one person come in to ask me about them in the last. How long have I been there? 7, 8 months. I would have put an FM, not an FM radio. I didn't know it had an FM radio. So there you go. That's how little I know about them. But I would have put a shortwave radio in, I think. I would prefer it to sample from shortwave.
I don't know, though. Yeah, as well. I mean, you could get brilliant samples off FM.
We're talking about an update that would allow you to sample from shortwave, and everywhere. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I love shortwave radio. It's just such a unique source of sound. I mean, even though it's been done over and over, you're just scanning through shortwave, you always get something weird and interesting. But how much memory does it have in it?
It's a kind of a strange. I don't know exactly, but you can. The sample works like this. If you sample in a synth mode, it gives you about, I think, 6 seconds, and if you sample in the drum mode, I think it's about 12 seconds. But you see,
right.
here's little. You plug the
aerial
antenna.
Is that the accessory that costs 40 quid?
Really?
I think no. This you can get non-teenage engineering ones. I think they exist as a
thing. Oh, right. Okay.
I think but so if you sample in the drum engine, what it cleverly does is it will map the entirety of the sample straight away to the keys. So I'll just demonstrate this because it is. This is an absolutely brilliant part of it. So. With the new feature, then I press the green encoder. Hooray! Encoder doing something, and
you're getting FM radio now, right?
Yeah. So, it's probably a bit too quiet. Really,
we heard that. We heard that.
I can hear it.
Okay. So then, what you do is you press the key. Hang on. Sorry, I'm not.
I'm in the wrong mode.
I gotta be in the sample mode. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So I just grab it for the duration. And then, now, once you've done that, then... sorry.
It plays on the keys, right, okay.
Yeah, so it's mapped
so it automatically. Breaks it up, does it? By transient.
And the best bit about it is you can then, each slice, you can control the gain. You can control the gain level of it. You can boost up you can scan through it, and then you can start setting the LFO to kind of move start and end points and things, so you can have it almost doing kind of granular sample manipulation. And it's the fact that you can just do it instantly, grab something off the radio. I love Radio 4 with all the waffle, just bits of waffle, and just get loads of kind of crazy granular stuff. And when you do that as a demonstration for people in a room, it's even now with kind of all this fantastic, touchscreen stuff, all this, that's quite, the OP-1 is running on a, what is it? It's a Blackfin Shark. Yeah, black. I can't remember what it is. Less horsepower than an iPhone 1. So really, in terms of the underlying tech on it,
it's pretty low grade.
It's pretty low. But You do a little demonstration like that, plug the radio in, just grab a little bit of radio, mess around. It blows people's minds. People think it's like the most amazing thing that they've seen, you know.
So, there is an aspect of the... I mean, it's an expensive thing. It's 900 quid still, or 800, between 8 and 9.
It's only expensive if you think that it's, like, saying that it's small. If you had that set into a 49-key keyboard, then you wouldn't say it was expensive. It would seem like really good value for money because it does so much. And the fact that it's small, people kind of get a real bee in their bonnet about the cost of it.
No, it's lovely. It's beautifully made. I mean,
I like it that it's small.
It's smallness.
Have you seen Bastille Instruments Micro Granny 2?
Great.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Because what you just were talking about, the way it gets granular with samples, made me think of that.
It's got, it is. I've always hesitated getting what Micro Granny because of the OP-1 being able to do similar, but it's different. It's different.
There we go.
Yeah, it's cool. Have you got them in your shop?
I've been playing with one, but I've sold it now. So no,
so you have had. Right, we're
heading there and gone. Sorry,
it feels like we're probably at the end of our Gaz. Oh, it's just the cage come off. Is that all?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. That's fixable.
And I've plugged
just
it
be
in,
very, very careful with the diaphragm, please.
Yeah.
Don't drop the cage on the diaphragm.
Just blow some compressed air on it.
No,
don't do that. No, don't do that.
No, don't do that. But it seems to work.
Good. I'm so glad. Yes. Okay. Phewie. Drama averted. Anyway, well, I'm going to because I'm definitely going to. I think I'm definitely going to get a circuit. So yeah, I'm excited. But anyway, right. Well, I think that's it for this week. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Don't forget just to drop you the Isotope Neutron competition again. We're looking for the hashtag Sounds Better and the hashtag Neutron. That's NEUTRON to @sonicstate and @Isotope Inc. You do that on Twitter. You get into the competition and we'll let you know, and you can. Get in touch. In fact, if you are Rick Tyra, please do get in touch because you've won and you're going to get a copy. So there. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, Dave, for joining us. Don't forget, Top Trumps, are they shipping in time for Christmas?
Yeah. Good Lord.
Have you got like a garage full of them somewhere?
I haven't, but I suspect
there is one somewhere.
Yes, there probably is. Yes. Yeah, excellent. And I should say thank you very much to Matt Berry. That was
if he's listening, maybe we could get him on the show one time because I know
I did ask. Actually, it's quite funny because I'm sat watching TV and I get this text, and it's a picture of a Mini Moog, and it's like, "I see you got yours too," and I'm like, "Yeah, great, you'll love it." By the way, who is this? And then it came back going, "It's Matt Berry." I'm like, "Oh God." Okay, sorry, Matt. Yeah, no, I did ask him if he'd come on, but I haven't had an answer yet.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, that's all right. You know, we can keep trying. One day. Right, well, Dave, thank you very much for joining us. GeForceSoftware.com for all your Top Trump 2 requirements. I think you can order from there, so please go to it. And also, Mr. Mark Tinley, thank you for joining us. Sonus Magus, not marktinley.co.uk, although I imagine there's a link on marktinley.co.uk to Sonus Magus, is there?
No.
Well, there blooming well should be.
Do you know what I've done this time? I've invented so many wild and wacky ideas over the years and always created the website first and then thought, right, now I've got the website, I'll start running the business. And like this, I just kind of went, I suppose I better chuck a web page up. And it's not, I haven't done any of that stuff. And I'm getting told off left, right and centre now because everyone's saying, oh, when you Google Glastonbury Music Shop, you're about 8th on the list. And so I do need to attend to all of that stuff or perhaps pay somebody to attend to it for me. So if anybody's clever at that and they're not some random Polish person or, sorry, not, that's, random person who just learned SEO in a seminar last week and wants to send that standard kind of paragraph, a real person who knows what they're doing.
Okay.
I'd be interested to hear from them.
Right. Thank you very much, Mark. And also, Mr. Gaz Williams, I'm so pleased to know that your mic is working. That makes me feel a whole lot better about myself as we end the show.
I don't know. I was starting to think, I want one of them Lewin mics that
we talked about it, didn't we? Yeah, they look great. Is that the stereo mic that's mono? The dual capsule one? Yeah.
Yeah. So I was hoping. Oh, I had an excuse then.
Have you got accidental damage cover? I can't imagine there'd be many people.
Yeah, it's a bit dented. It's a Rode NTK, by the way, for anyone who was wondering.
Okay.
And right. And actually, this is it's not my major mic at all, but my two main mics are both bust.
Oh.
So I do go through them at a fair old rate.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us. That's it for this. Hold on. No.
One more thing. iWave Station has been released today. Korg iWave Station.
Oh yeah.
So as an app, it's a full recreation of the classic Korg, synth. And I think they're issuing all the expansion cards as well as in-app purchases, which I think is probably quite cool with the Wave Station, because I remember some of them being really ace. But it looks like they've done a really interesting, quite thorough. I haven't tried it yet, but that's just out today, like a few hours ago. So
I know that there's something else coming out tomorrow, and I wanted to talk about it, but I can't because it's not until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I'm afraid I can't. Stay on the site, and I can't I don't want to bust my NDA or get into trouble. But stay tuned. Good things come to those who wait. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much for this week. Thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next time. That's it for this show. See ya. That's the one. Okay, folks, thank you very much. I think I figured out how to switch off the Sonic Live thing, so I'm hoping that that's worked. We'll see. Oops, that's not it. Wait a sec, I'm just going to see Sonic Talk Live. Live thing, so I'm hoping that that's worked. Oh, it hasn't. We'll see. Excellent. Oh.